And hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Before we do get into today's video, as always, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. So I hope you are all well. There's a lot to go through in today's video. We didn't post yesterday due to the Euros final being on, but there's a lot of Celtic news that's kind of happened in the last 48 hours. A lot of incoming news, a lot of outgoing news. So I suppose I'll start with the fact that Hyang Oy has left Celtic permanently. This isn't breaking news. We knew this was happening for some time. We knew that Genk were interested in him. It was just a matter of getting everything finalised and over the line before it was officially announced, basically by the club, and that's now obviously happened. We know Celtic, of course, want to get Adam Idah in on a permanent transfer. This kind of sale of O's now kind of amplified that now, and that needs to happen sooner rather than later. We need to get another striker in at the club because, as things stand right now, Kyogo is the only senior striker at in the team. So we definitely need to get another number 9 through the door. So Adam Idah, I'm sure that will happen sooner rather than later if we can get the transfer fee matched with what Norwich want for him. But yeah, Hyang Oy has left the club. There were fees being touted around £4.5 million. But it's more closer to £2.5 million for him, which isn't great, but of course, he never really worked out for him at Celtic. He came in to replace Giakoumakis at the time in January 2023, and I guess you could say never got loads of opportunities, but he never really made an impact when he was brought onto the pitch. He's had a few good moments here and there, scored a few goals here and there, had a little purple patch last season, but yeah, definitely one to chalk up as a probably failure at the club really overall, which feels kind of harsh to say, but not a great signing overall, Hyang Oy, and it's kind of disappointing to see, but he's left the club now and he's gone to Genk. Wishing the best, of course, and hopefully that now makes our interest in Idah become more concrete and we can actually try and focus on getting him in through the door at some point in this transfer window, because he'll be a great replacement for him and a great competitor for that number 9 spot against Kyogo. Now let's get into the main story of today's video. As you can tell by the video, we are in a bidding war, I suppose, with Juventus interested in a Celtic player. Now you probably could have guessed who this is. It's Matt O'Reilly, of course, the man that's probably the most in-demand Celtic player right now. A lot of teams are interested in him, from the Premier League to Italy to Spain. Everyone wants a bit of Matt O'Reilly, and Celtic are kind of batting away interest right now. So we spoke the other day about Atalanta making an offer for him, but it was very, very below what Celtic wanted for him. We want around £30 million for him, £25 to £30 million. The report basically stated they were nowhere near that asking price for him. So now it basically says that Juventus are the next team to be eyeing up the player, with O'Reilly making the back page of 22 Sport this morning. The report claims Juventus have made contact and asked for a price. So big story here in Italy. Matt O'Reilly is wanted after by Juventus now. So Celtic have made their stance clear. O'Reilly won't leave on the cheap. Fans are expecting a fee that matches or even surpasses the club record transfer set at £25 million for Kieran Tierney. With freaks to go until the new season, Celtic are in a strong financial position and don't need to sell players to balance the books. This is all bolstered by the impending windfall from the new Champions League format. So yeah, as we mentioned multiple times, Celtic don't actually need to sell anyone whatsoever. And of course, with his contract as well, Matt O'Reilly is very much securely a Celtic player for many years now, so many more years to come. So there's no actual desperation to sell O'Reilly at any point in this transfer window. Of course, there was interest in him in January from Atletico Madrid. We swiftly rejected that, and he was more than happy to stay at Celtic for the rest of the season. Now, again, it has to be said that O'Reilly's not really made any implications that he actually wants to leave the club. He's obviously mentioned before where he dreams on playing in the future. But in terms of this transfer window, he's not really kicked up a fuss whatsoever. He seems pretty happy and content at Celtic. So whether or not he actually stays, I don't know. There's a lot of teams interested in him. And with the transfer fee as well, £25 million, which is many years ago now, we should be asking for more than that, really, especially with the amount of teams that are interested in O'Reilly. There should be a little bit of a bit more going on and try and get close to £30 million if he was to go. Now, I think me and a lot of Celtic fans, they'd rather keep the player, of course, than the money, because when we do reinvest the money, it's never always great. Sometimes we buy players that are poor, they aren't good, and we've seen that when we sold Jota last season. We never really got a good replacement for him. I mean, Luis Palmer's been decent here and there, But if we do sell Matt O'Reilly, we have to have a strong idea of who we're going to bring in to replace him, because it's big shoes to fill if he is to go. So yeah, a lot of interest right now. Of course, we spoke the other day about Hatate as well. A Russian team were interested in him. Celtic didn't deem it acceptable. They don't want to deal with Russian teams either. And Hatate doesn't want to leave unless it goes to the Premier League or Italy or Spain. He wants to go to one of the big leagues, not into the Russian Premier League. So there's a lot of interest in our players this transfer window. Now, in terms of incomings, the medical's done with Kasper Schmeichel. That will be a done deal very soon. A lot of fans kind of make split opinions on this one. Some fans are happy because he's an experienced keeper, but some fans feel like it's just a short-term fix, which of course it is when he's 37 years old. But I think it's a good stopgap for it's a good filler keeper to have whilst we look for a long-term replacement of Joe Hart, or he'd be the long-term replacement of Kasper Schmeichel, given how good he gets on in the next few years. But definitely, it's a big name, a great keeper, great experience, Premier League winner, FA Cup winner. You know, he's won that lot, so he's definitely a good player. He's played in the Champions League before with Leicester, so definitely got loads of experience in these competitions that we need him for, and he should be able to help us win trophies, and that will be a done deal very, very soon. Only for 12 months, but he has an option to extend it for one more year as well. And yeah, there's a lot going on right now around Celtic in terms of transfers. You know, busy time. But I didn't want to get a video out yesterday. I'm sure a lot of you guys are probably watching the finals, and if you are interested in football as a whole, I think most people were watching the finals yesterday. Regardless if you're Scottish or English or Spanish or Portuguese, I'm sure everyone was watching it. But yeah, so there's a lot, obviously we kind of discussed a lot in this video here. But yeah, I want to know your thoughts as always on what we discussed. Of course, first off about how Oye going to Genk in Belgium. Do you think that's a good bit of business for Celtic? The transfer fee we got from is around £2.5 million, closer to that mark rather than the 4.5 that has been reported. And of course, what are your thoughts on the whole Matt O'Reilly situation? Will he stay? Will he go? Of course, I think a lot of you guys would rather him stay, but there's a lot of teams interested in him now. Juventus being the latest one. So there'll be a lot of teams to kind of fight over him this transfer window. And I will be very surprised if he is a Celtic player come the start of the season outside of the transfer window. I will be very surprised if he's still a Celtic player. But yeah, we'll see what happens with that. As always, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.